we need to open this whole thing up with our double leg takedowns. I mean, we're going to work this entire grappling program. We need to get down on the mat, but one of the ways to do this, you've got to get the man off his feet first. And the primary takedowns you're going to be using, there's several varieties. You've got your double leg takedowns, your single leg takedowns, all varieties of fireman's carries. You could take double legs and single legs and run these things into variations of 80 to 90. But what I'm going to do is give you some of the top the high percentage ones that you can use right up front. Now with the double leg, the first one we're going to hit is just the double leg tackle. Now, some of the main rules you got to keep in mind, we're going to gloss over some of these to get you right some of the material right here, is you've got to be, to take a man down, you've got to be able to touch him first. So in other words, if my hand is out, either if we're just doing a submission only match, I got to make sure that I can touch my man. Corey and I are moving around playing this kind of work, making sure that we've got our hands on one another. If it's closer to NHB, street work, we'll use the jab as a probe. If the jab does not find its mark, we don't take a shot on him at that time. So we're going to go ahead and assume that we are in close enough to hit. One of the other ideas we're going to keep in mind with all these takedowns is we've got to be able to break the plane of glass between your opponent's heels. So we'll have to pretend that Corey right here between the backs of his heels has a plane of glass, and every time I take a penetration step, either one of my feet or my knee will step through and break this plane of glass. So a penetration step would be either me stepping here or banging a knee under the mat where we get the penetration. Now the first one we're going to hit is just a standard double leg tackle. Now in a double leg tackle, it's not like a football where you just keep driving straight through and staying on your feet. We're actually going to bang both of our knees under the mat. Whenever I bang the knees down, my inside knee, which is my right knee in this case, will drop down to break the plane of glass. Both my hands will hit him where he bends, right behind the knees. Shoulder hits him in the hip, also where he bends. I don't want my hands on the calves. I don't want them on the hamstrings. I don't want my shoulders in the middle of his thigh. Always where he bends. That way he can give me less resistance when he starts trying to counter this thing out with some sprawls or some underhooking. And once we get to this point with it, we break the plane of glass. We hit him where he bends. The last thing I'll use to take him down, let alone my momentum moving through him, is I head hook him. If my head is on the right side of his body, once I have everything hooked up, I'm using my head to force off towards my right. So I'm using my head to push into it. If my head was on the left side, force off to my left. So what we've got going on with this, we make sure we can hit the guy, touch him. We're going to bang both knees. Hit them both down, hit him where he bends. We would drive through and hook him with the head. Now you're going to find when you're working this move, if you stall any motion, this isn't going to work. So for example, it would be the same thing if I threw a jab and just held it out there. That's not nearly as effective as snapping this thing out. So I got to bang both knees on the mat, hit him where he bends, then hit the head hook. We'll go ahead and do one of those. Ready for real time, sir? So right here, making sure we get soft. We'll move this back a little bit. Touch, touch, touch. Right here, we're going to do one a little bit slower. We're going to come in, and with Corey's attractive angle of the camera, you always wanted that, and that way I can use my head to hook him off to the side. You see, if I'm not hooking him, he will fall straight back whenever I drive into him. Well, now what will happen here, let's stay in your butt for a moment and stoot you up here. Whenever I've dropped him, if I haven't used my head hook, but he's straight on his back, now we've moved ourselves into a leg war. Sorry, let's give you a little bit of profile. I've just dropped him here. He starts going to work underhooking with his feet or his arms, and start playing this guy's guard game at this time. So we'll go ahead and just start playing that. Move in. Now we're in his higher grappling match, which is fine, where I could have come out into probably an optimum position. I've taken myself down to the mat, and I'm still in a struggle or scramble fight instead of top position. I'll show what I mean. Again, with the profile, I'm going to shoot this leg tackle, bang both knees to the mat, bring him down to the mat, but I'm not going to use the head hook. He will go straight back and go directly into using your feet and underhooks, okay? So we're here, I can touch, straight back. I'm still somewhat in top position, but you can see he's still in this game. If I bang both knees and head hook, that takes his feet away from him. He can no longer use it. Let's play the same kind of scramble, so I'll probably try and shoot. He's shooting for the scramble, and I'll just try and blanket him to cover him up so he can't use his legs against me. So, touch, hit. Much better position for me. Now, one more time on those details. We hit, we got to break the plane of glass between the heels, hit him where he bends, then hook him with the head. What we can also do from here, that's just your standard tackle, we've got a double leg dive. Again, we got to make sure we can touch this guy. We will hit him where he bends. And a dive is where we're hitting everything the same, except we don't drop to the knees. The hands are in, the shoulders in, breaking the plane of glass. The difference is we want to hit him hard enough where we start a little bit of a bend of his torso over our shoulder. Once we hit this, we'll be doing the same thing with the head hook. Let's do a attractive angle. Here, in, a little bit of a bend. If he's standing straight up, this won't work. Also, if he's standing straight up, it means you did not bang into him. It means you just bent down and passively grabbed a hold of him. So we're here. I'm not taking you down. We're just here, and a little bit of a bang. Profile. So we're here, a little bit of a bang. You see, penetrate the glass, hit him where he bends, and here. Now, once I've hit where he bends, that's where there would actually be a pickup and turn him. Now, when you're picking a guy up, you got to keep in mind, you've always got to have, you're going to pick up something that's right at your toe level. Meaning, for example, if I throw something down on the mat in front of me and I want to pick it up, this is less efficient for me because he can start snapping me down at this point. If I bend straight down at the toe, it's a lot, he has less ability to snap me down. Small example, if I'm just bending over here, I'm going to reach 6 inches in front of my body, snap on the head cord. I had to use base. Just bending down to touch the toe, snap down. Same, okay, now snap down again. It's a small difference in where you're putting your hands can change how much you can be snapped down. So when you're doing this leg dive, this is not a leg dive. It's no penetration. I would be reaching 6 inches in front of my foot. So if you had to penetrate, so I would be doing a leg dive and reaching for the toes if I were going to reach past this. So we're here, bang him a bit, and you would have your pickup. I'm not going to leave him in the air and walk around the ring with him. You would do your pickup, and again, use your head hook. We're not going to slam him hard on this kind of thing. So we're here, move around, touch, pick up. Let's do one with the back of the camera. Here, bang, penetrate, hit him where he bends, and to finish, head hook, and spin the legs out. You have to medium on that. Right here, good man, thank you. So here, let's move this up a little bit. Here. This all happens, not because you've got strength in your body. It helps with the conditioning. But I'm here, bend over my body a little bit. You will notice my foot's not penetrated past here. Here's me trying to do the same pickup. I can make it happen if I really push through, but I'm feeling it in the lumbar spine. Once I penetrate, and think about the toe moving past where I could reach for the toe, changes the whole game. Now, you got this leg tackle, leg dive. We can also take a look if we bang down to the mat with a single knee. Or in the leg tackle, we bang both. We're going to use a leg hook. We're going to bang the single knee and leave our trail foot out momentarily. All the upper body work stays the same. Hit him where he bends. Rear foot will come around and step behind his heel. So it's a heel-to-heel sweep. So we're here. This would be the motion. So we're going to bang the knee and step through. Now once I step through, I would continue on driving through. I don't have to turk his leg yet. Turking just means using my leg to arch a limb up to the sky. Just blocking this thing out. So in slow-mo, we're here. I can touch him. I bang the knee, penetrate the plane, hit him where he bends, and hook. Let's do that one more time, right about here. That half. Shoot. And down. Here, okay, same thing. And down. I'm releasing this point for safety because we're not trying to cover them all the way up yet. Once with the rear side of the camera, we're right here. Got a bang, here, hook, and I would continue to drive through. Right where he bends. Do one in real time. We're here, hit him where he bends, and I would continue to cover on the way to the mat. Now, I told you there's many ways to hit a double leg. What I'm giving you are the highest percentage ones that you can start your root grappling skills and really bring these up to speed. We're talking about these. I'm giving you 4. These 4 are about 95%ers. You're going to be able to use them with even really highly skilled opponents. Now we need something to come off of this. We have the double leg tackle, we've got the leg dive, and I've given you this with the back trip, the double leg tackle with the back trip. We need to give you something in case we hit a stumble in this back trip, or else you're going to be caught in your caught down the mat on one knee. So for example, let's freeze right here. I've hit this, and I've got this leg through, and he posts his foot a little bit back, and I'm trying to drive, and I've got nothing left. I can't get him down. So what I'm going to do is I will take this hand, since I've got my foot already blocking the heel, I don't need it on the knee anymore. So my left foot is doing the back heel trip, the left hand is going to move to a seat belt. A seat belt is nothing more than grasping the waist. A seat belt, we need to pay attention to these definitions because it's going to be all over the place. This material, seat belt can be this, or it can be this. It's a single arm around the body. If it's two arms, it's a body lock. Let's go ahead and keep this vocabulary in mind. So we're here, move off from him where he bends to the seat belt position. Now what I will do with the far hand, this will come off the knee as well. Whenever it comes off the knee, let's take a tractive side in. I'm going to lean my head out down to a seat belt. This will come out and underhook on the thigh. So at this point, I've got my left heel blocking out his leg. I've got the seat belt to prevent him from backstepping away from me. From here, I'm just blocking this out. I don't need to pick him up. I block as I drive into him. So I banged. I set this position up. I'm here. I'm here. This will finish up if he's trying to stall out your back heel. We'll give that profile. So I'm not shooting for this one initially. I want my back heel. Touch, bang, I'm blocked, hook, hook, and then keep driving. It's important that when you realize with this hand position, I'm not trying to lift. I've got maybe 10, varies sometimes 15 pounds in the core. He's going to stand up, sir. If I just try and pick him up with this position, this is awkward. This is like trying to lift. Put weight in this hand and lift out in this direction. Really tough to do unless you're some kind of power lifter. All I'm trying to do is hit here, make sure he can't step this leg back. And I'm also using this seat belt. It's also always trying to step back. I'm pulling down on this hip. Let's move this direction a tiny bit. Right here, here, here. And there's the takedown. One more time. We'll do it in flow, medium speed. Double leg tackle to back heel trip. He stalls me up, switch the hands off, pull, block, and finish it off. So we're here, penetrate, up again, same thing, block in. Now, when you're reaching, go ahead and address something that will happen in your matches. Have you stand back up. You're going to see motion sometimes when you're reaching for things. You're going to go, are you missing and hooking legs? Hell yeah, this happens sometimes. You'll be in the middle of a fight. You're still just trying to train your system where you're finding where your underhook is. If I shoot and I go, oh, I missed the leg, I just come to something like this, I'm not going to be able to finish. You've got to keep chopping and finding these underhooks that you're looking for. So, this would happen with anything. If I'm doing a double leg tackle and I realize my knee didn't break the plane of glass, what I need to do at this point is just keep sliding my knees up. Everything in grappling, just like in boxing, will call for some sort of adjustment where you just can't go, oh, that one didn't work, got to move on. You're constantly throwing your probes and constantly winging out techniques. Now with that said, you've got 4 high percentage ones. We're going to give you even more ways to counter these out and to make sure that whenever you're being shot with a high percentage takedown, you can stall this thing. We're going to take a look now how to start countering out these double leg takedowns. These things, like I said, are high percentage. Corey, if you're going to shoot in, for the most part, it's going to be a double leg, right? Right. A double leg is just like a jab in boxing, or a jab should be in NHB. The first and the king of the counters to the double leg is your standard sprawl. We're going to cover this in brief detail, and make sure when you're doing a sprawl, your hips are what's driving the opponent. You never want your chest down on your opponent, and whenever you are sprawling out, you're going to take your insteps to the mat. If you've got your toes dug into the mat, you're creating drag, and they can continue to drive into you, and they can stand you back up. So let's go ahead and let's just go down to position as if you shot. When I'm talking about with a sprawl, I would have hips through here. This on the hips right now, ignore the feet right now, the hips are proper positioning. This is wrong. You'll see a lot of people do this, think this is a sprawl, and they immediately start wanting to body lock. This is not a sprawl yet. He feels, which one do you feel more weight on? Let's get your head out here. There's the weight here, we're here, there. There's the weight. Also you got to think about, my weight is just laying on top. I've not stopped him from penetrating through here if he's got good conditioning. I've actually got to use my hips as a stop for him coming in. Now we talked about the feet. I'm getting off the balls of my feet right now. I want to be insteps down. So if he is driving into me, I actually drive back and across the mat. If I've got the balls of my feet on the mat, go ahead and give me a little bit of drive. Look at that. He stood me right back up. He can finish off his double leg. If the insteps are down, drive. Notice the slide here. And he's having to do a lot more work and less interested about completing this particular shot. So, the sprawl, hips in, chest up, insteps down. Now, just to make this fair one time, I'll shoot and you can put the sprawl in. Pay close attention because I don't want to get hit more than a couple of times. We move on to the next one. Does that sound good? That's good. Tit for tat. Okay, so we're here. I make sure I can touch him. I'll shoot the double leg. We'll sprawl. We're here. Look at that. He's got good position. I'll do it one more time. I'll keep driving. We'll move down some so we can see that your insteps are down. So it's here. Excellent. So there you go. Hopefully you don't want too many more of those. See, Corey's got the hard job. He's always taking the fall. See, you owe me some gratitude, right?
You don't want to talk all the time now.
Okay. Now, that's going to be one of the kings of your defense against a double leg. Now, what will happen whenever you're executing a sprawl, though, this is, as you already saw, we're on the mat. We're moving directly into mat work. Nothing wrong with that. You're in top position. I'm going to show you many ways to start, hooking this guy from right here. But there are ways to stop these things up and remain on your feet, because a lot of people, when they think grappling, they think, well, you got your takedown and you grapple around on the mat. Well, there's standing grappling as well. So I'm going to run you through a pretty good series of things that are both stopping a double leg on the mat and stopping a double leg from your feet. The next one I want to show you right now is the underhook and the inside thigh block. So, whenever he shoots in, an underhook, again, to get our definitions down, an underhook is any time I take an arm or a leg and place it under the limb that I'm trying to instruct you to get a hold of. For example, if I underhook his arm, that's an underhook. This is an overhook. Pretty simple vocabulary, and we're going to make sure we're on the same page. We run through this long, exhaustive, painfully exhaustive series. So, what's going to happen whenever he shoots in, I'm going to underhook his head. So whenever he shoots, there's a head underhook. Right, let's drop that arm out for my head underhook. This arm will overhook his arm on this side. So he'll shoot. Let's do the overhook right here. And once I've done the overhook, I'm going to run a thigh block, which is I'm using the back of my hand against his thigh. So I've got palm facing away, back of my hand on his thigh. So the whole thing together is going to be underhook on the head, overhook on the arm. We got a thigh block. The reason we're putting the thigh block in, if I just do an underhook and an overhook on his body, but I'm not stopping his hips from coming through on me, we'll show you what happens. I'm going to just do that only without the thigh block. You can pick up or drop as you see fit. Ready, sir? Okay? You see what happened there? I had my under and over in. And you see this a lot in NHB competition, because lots of times in jiu-jitsu, guys are just reaching, this is all I need. This is the powerful portion of the man's body. I got to stop the hips from coming in. So every shoots, we're here, overhooking, and this is going in strong. I got my hips like, but I'm blocking this out. So let's take a look at the same amount of pressure. I just got this position in, and I want to give me about 60% on your drive. Okay, he's got me. 60% on your drive. Same thing. It looks like a less cohesive or less tight position, because the other one you go, well, I'm gripping him tight. Well, it's going to be a hell of a lot tighter than the guy. Stop his leg. So again, he shoots, over, hook right here, back of the hand to the back of the thigh. There's your thigh pride, here's your thigh block, and right here on the head. So a couple times slow. Let's look at this side. One more on this side. There you go. And just on this side. Take a look. There's the motion right here. One more time. Excellent. Now, I'm going to move on and show you another one. Go ahead and come clean with something here. If you occasionally see me doing this, looking off to the left thing, it's a lot of material. We know all this stuff and make sure we got it in right order for you guys. I'm looking at a board to sometimes make sure we're on the same page. Just going to make sure you think I'm not interested in you right now. We're going to hit a cross face, a rear crotch. Now, a cross face, oh, you're going to love this, aren't you? Let's talk, go ahead and drop your hands and knees for a moment. Again, vocabulary lesson. A cross face, we'll see people just thinking, well, that's what you reach your forearm across right and grab right here. Okay, this did not include his face. This is not a cross face. This isn't putting him in any kind of jeopardy, not making him mad. This is a little bit better variation, but the entry angle is actually, give me a little bit of an angle right here. It's going to be the inner blade of the forearm, hitting at 45 and down, so it's driving across underneath the nose and then down across the chin to grab the far shoulder. So this can work, but if he's got a really strong neck and you're in a struggle, he's got a little bit of resistance, this angle starts cutting everything out. That's a cross face. It's a true cross face. Now, when we're doing this, I will reach for lazy cross faces for the sake of the drill. So if you see, whenever he shoots, you see me just doing this, because I'm being kind to my partner, and he'll end up doing a cross face back to me at some point, and he'll say, remember when we shot that video, and I'll spit some blood out and cry a little bit. So I'm going to give him the nice version. But again, real version, please stay up for a moment. It's going to be not here, but down and across. Now, whenever he shoots, this time, I've got to maneuver myself off to one side or the other. In this case, turn a little bit this direction. He shoots. We already saw what we're doing with the cross face. I maneuver a little bit to his inside, which is his chest, off to my right. I'm going to hit a cross face with my left arm, where my right hand reaches for a rear crotch. Now, rear crotch, inside crotch, it sounds like I'm reaching between his legs. As horrible as it may sound, yeah, I am. Actually, this is a great, forgive how this sounds, a handle to actually hit on a human being. Everybody's cupped up. Everything's fine. We're actually going to get where the hips are the main, where the main body mass is, the center of mass right here. This is actually a great place to be able to pick and lift people. So whenever he does hit, I'm hitting a cross face with the left. I'm reaching over and across his near side thigh, which in this case will be his left leg. And I'm actually reaching the hand. It's actually coming around the inside of the thigh, but sometimes if it's necessary to come up into where the cup region is, it's just going to have to be, sorry about that. You're going to hit the cross face, hit through, and a little bit of a lift to turn them off on the side. We'll do this fairly slow, a couple of different angles. Every shoots, we've got the cross face to here. I'm going to let that loose a little bit, and reaching through here. And then it would be a chest through to bump. I can do this from standing position, this semi-crouch, or we can do it from the knees. Let's do the setup again. He shoots, see the footwork to angle this off. Cross face. If I let his head stay in place, he's still able to drive through me. If taking his face away removes a lot of his strength, hit the rear cross position and drive through. Let's do one about 50. I'm going to bump you down. All right, thank you, sir. Cross face and rear cross. You good? Yep. Any little hamburger inside? Okay. Okay. Now there's your cross face and the rear crotch. Let's move on to another one. We've got a front quarter Nelson. Now we're going to be covering Nelsons in great depth further on this program, but right now I need to address them where they also pop up. And we can use them as some defense against this double leg. Whenever he shoots, we can take someone's mass away, drive away from them by posting on their head. All the more if we're able to post and drag down. So a couple of times slow. Whenever he shoots, you can drill alone just putting your hand on the head, doing a little bit of a drive back. Well, it takes a no-brainer to see sometimes there's a knee in here, but also it's a no-brainer for a good wrestler. Whenever I'm throwing him down, he can snag that leg. Do about 60, and you can snatch the leg if you want to keep driving. Bad news for me. So I'd rather keep my base and just direct the head. So when he shoots, direct the head. Now here's where the quarter Nelson comes into play. Using my right hand to stop the head, left arm underhooks right here. We're all on the same page of this. I just lied to you right here. I'm going to have my left arm overhook for you. So here, left overhook is going to weave all the way through. I'm going to turn this a bit. Stop. Here would be the overhook. And I take this hand, brace on top of this hand. And then we would start taking his chin towards his chest and then cock him over his shoulder. Now, this hand position, right now I'm showing you a lazy position right now so we can learn this hand position. Or putting my overhook in. So he shoots, place my hand in position, shoot, hand in position, shoot, hand in position. Now, real hand position right here. In standard wrestling, it's the back of the head or the neck. Everybody out there, submission or a street wrestler, this is the real way Nelsons are done. The hand is not here. You're going to take your middle finger, you're actually making sure it needs to drape over the ear. This is where true leverage is. Take a look at the small difference here. I'm going to leave my hand here. I can win with the Nelson here, but Corey, resist the Nelson. If I eventually put all my weight on it, we're down. Small change in hand position, resist the Nelson. Totally different in the leverage. So the hands on all Nelsons will drape over where at least the middle finger is actually touching onto the ear. If you actually think about where your finger was digging into the ear hole, you know you've gone far enough with this thing. But this is not right. This is not right. This is correct. So let's do this about 50. He shoots, stops. There's the overhook, hand in position. Stay here for a moment. Shoot, to here. This side, so you can see this hand come into play. Shoot. You notice I'm trying to remove my legs from him because I don't want to stay right here with my base close because he can still pick me up. I've got to make sure I'm controlling my base. Base, synonymous with balance, the entire way. Now once we're here, we would hit by pushing his chin to his chest and levering up with his arm. I'm going to roll you. Ready, sir? And taking him down to the mat. One more time from here. We're going to go down. And we're down. Since we're down, let's have you on your back, sir. Head, feet. We're already on the mat. We dropped him with this front quarter Nelson. I'm going to introduce you to two neck cranks right here. We've got a flat crank, and then we've got a chin hook crank. Now these can be hit almost any time you're in a crossbody position. We're not through with countering after double leg, but right now this is where we've thrown him. He winds up on his back. We're going to exploit that. And then I want you to start using your imagination. We'll revisit this as well to start seeing where this motion comes into so many places. I've hit him with the quarter. We'll turn. What will happen when I hit him with the quarter, this is where we finished off. We hit right here. Whenever I go into him in a crossbody ride, I go chest to chest on this guy, and I let my Nelson hand encircle his head completely. So we're here, I've gone chest to chest. It says this is hooked as completely as I can. I'm staying low on him, I've got my weight into him, I will put my hips through him, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to arch and look over my near side shoulder, the shoulder closest to his head. There's the tap. Let's turn this a little bit this way because I want them to see the magenta color your face go. Ready? So we're here, make sure we had this, we just dropped him, I immediately cover and wrap the head. So I keep my hips low. I can't do this up here. There's space. He can start getting out. Hips down, and turn. Now, while we're on the mat, let's say we've done this, and we go, oh, he's not finishing up. Mark and Corey have lied to me. This hand is still wrapped around. This hand that's wrapped around can look and find the chin. I've just found the chin. So I've gone from the flat crank, and I say, wow, this isn't working out. Grab the chin. I will sit out onto my left hip. Sit out means just orienting going down to one haunch, or in this case the outside of the left thigh and buttock. Sitting out next to him, I'm pulling on the chin and sliding towards his shoulder. So here we are, flat crank, arch and look, chin hook. Those are healthy tabs. I don't blame you. Nice. Okay, so you got the flat right into the chin hook. Again, those will pop up later. Even places where we don't show them to you, keep in mind if you're in that position, you go, hey, my arm can go around them right here. And I think this thing will work out pretty good. Now we've shown you a front quarter Nelson. Let's play with another Nelson, which is a reverse Nelson. Back to the feet. He shot on us. We're still using the same hand to post and stop. Where we just had the hook coming all the way in to hit the stack position. If I remove the hand that was posted on his head and just hit him right here and drape this finger over, this right here is your reverse half. So here we have a front quarter, reverse half. There's so many Nelsons. It'd be nice if you can learn to memorize all these so you can start finding the variations, because Nelsons are devastating. Nelson's rule?
Very strong.
Here, what do you see at Princeton Bar? It's coming up later. So right here, this is your front quarter, this is your half. So same kind of setup. Post on the head, overhook, only difference is we're going right here. This leaves us an arm free to bang if we want to, start hooking if we want to. I'll show you some Princeton bars later on. But the levering is still going to be the same, which is my attacking shoulder is higher than the attacked shoulder. My fingers draped over in the ear. I'm pushing his chin towards his chest. And we've taken him down to the mat. One more time in that setup, we have the difference. We've got front quarter right here, and there's your reverse half. So front and reverse half. Let's take a look at how to do another way to counter out this double leg. Notice we're giving you more counters on the double leg than actually how to shoot them, which is the same thing with the jab. Jab is basically one punch. You've got so many ways to counter this thing out. We've got a double underhook. So whenever he shoots, I'm going to use both hands to direct the head. Whenever I do this, now I'm going to underhook both arms. Not clasping my hands, just underhooking both arms and keeping them tight across the scapula. I would try and keep his head in the center of my chest if at all possible. Once I give him room to start ducking out to an armpit, he can start slipping this thing out. We'll show you some of that in a bit. So it's a double underhook, keep the head in the chest. I'm going to let Corey do this one to me. He's not going to clasp his hands. It's a different move because he does this one all the time. I watch him tap many people with it. He's smiling with the memory. Don't tap me. Don't tap me. Don't tap, all right? Take a look. Notice how he's taking his hips out and away, keeping the back of my head centered in his chest. So I reach out to touch, looking for my leg dive. Here's the double underhook. Do it again. Satisfying, isn't it? A little payback. Right. That's your double underhook. Fairly easy sort of thing to hit. When you hit this double underhook, many things you can do. You can drive someone back into to the wall, the cage wall, parked car, whatever. You can also hit an elevator with this thing. I can do this to you because you're younger. So I hit this double underhook. In this case, we do have a head fed off to one side. I'm going to feed it off over here for a moment, so just pay attention to me and don't look at your face. So right here, I've got this double underhook. I would sit down on my butt while keeping the underhook, and I'm going to elevate on the side his head is on. An elevate is nothing more than taking the inside of an instep, or later you can see you can do this with the hamstrings, other portions of your leg, but an elevator is placing a portion of your legs underneath a thigh so you can move them over to their back. So what I mean is when he shoots, I got my double underhook, he shot his head off to one side. Now optimally I would try and maneuver to get it back in position, but if he's been strong to have this on one side, we'll turn this for a moment. I'm going to sit down on my butt. Since his head is off to my right, it's going to be the right foot that looks for the inner thigh. So I will sit down and try to do this slowly and nicely as possible. I'm trying to keep no pressure on his neck right now. And as I sit down on my butt, I will kick on this thigh. So here, kick. This will take him over. Once we're over in this position, now I will sit out on my hip to my right hip, slowly. Right into a stocks position. So we have the double underhook. Corey's fave. He's damn good at it too. If his head moves off the side, see him hit this too. You can hit this underhook. Remember, elevate, the side the head is on, kick him over. Do it again slowly so you can look at the finish. So we shoot. You know you're smart. So we shoot, double underhook, his head's off on the side. Now I would sit on my butt back here if I can. I'm going to try, I would be hopping underneath him to set this elevator. Ready, sir? Elevator! And over. Now I'm going to have you shift this direction just a moment. So you can take a look from this is how this is going to look when we hit. Right here, I'm on my knees, profile. Then sit out on my hips slowly. And what I'm finishing with is I'm spreading his arms back behind his, above his head, while I'm taking my armpit back into his neck, forcing his chin towards his chest. So we're here. You can imagine if you took a big, long, bad intention sit out, what this is going to do to the neck. What we can also do from this position, Corey does this all the time, is you can take the double arm lock, the double underhook, and just do a double bar lock, which is the same thing, except you actually reach behind and clasp your hands behind the back. You're still optimally trying to keep your head in the center of your chest. It's a good snap. Did I start that?
It's nice.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. You want to do this one to me?
Sure.
Double underhook, right into holding the hands together, into a double bar lock. You ready?
Elevator.
No elevator. See, I don't fall down. I'm old. You ready? Lucas' hands right there in that position. Put a little squeeze in there. There's the tap. So all I had to do was take his chest or hips through my neck, forcing it to my chin, and spread my arms out and keep this clasped the whole time. And that snap right there means stop, or you'll see tears before the camera. Ready to do it again? And again. It's enough hurting me. That was good. Okay, now we'll move on from that one. We've got the double bar with a back trip, which is horrible. Same thing. We hit. There's our double bar position, but again, the head's come out to the side. Now we've got to do something about this because I can't get the same pressure on his head. So the back trip, whenever his head's on my right side, I will use the back of my right heel against the back of his right heel. It's nothing more than hitting here. As you can see what's going to happen now, we're back in that stocks position, except even more vicious because our hands are gripped together. So he shot, I got the double bar lock, his head's on my right, here, bam, I'm going to release for the sake of the drill, take the sit out, bam, there we go.
Very friendly.
Yes, I can. So he shoots, poach, get the double underhook to the double bar lock, his head is on the side, so it's on my right side, right heel to right heel, release for the sake of friendship, sit out, take the shot. Now, we would optimally be doing this all the way. Even in competition, I would release that to that double underhook position, save that for street or prison. That's the only two places I can think of really going to be putting that kind of thing in. Let's go ahead and take a look at putting a whizzer in now. A whizzer is a, not wizard like in Gandalf, but W-H-I-Z-Z-E-R. Sometimes remember we had some karate college we've taught before. Oh, wizard, that's magic. No, it's wrestling. Whenever he shoots, we're going to overhook an arm instead of a whizzer position. So whenever he shoots, for example, he's reaching for the body lock on this one. This is really great against people who have no concept of this hitting where he bends, but they're hitting right here. Now, whizzer's a super useful move that you can maybe use the crook of your arm, or you can actually go all the way down where you're using your shoulder, where you're actually going to attack his right arm. In this case, it's my left versus his right. I would use my left to backstep with my right in this position. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm decreasing my base on top of his shoulder, and I would be driving him all the way into the mat. So he shot, overhook, doing this slow, and bring him down. Perhaps, let's do one in this direction. Again, he shoots. There's a huge overhook on this side. Let's have the shoot again. Right here. Sorry, I was on that angle. Here. That's just setting the whizzer right here. Got your head, set the whizzer, then back step to bring him down. This is still hooked the whole way. Now, to do whizzer, I'm not facing him. I keep trying to turn off where my whizzer shoulder is pointing towards the mat, and I elevate the other shoulder to keep more pressure to the back of his arm. If I keep him even this way, he's able to keep gripping me in the seat belt, turn around in front of me if he wants to, and he's back in the game. But by doing this, can he turn in front of me? No. I've got some good weight on him here. So again, the whizzer, hook this thing up, and you can drive him really, really hard in the mat. Would you like to do one to me about 75%? That'd be nice. There, sir. There you go. It's the whizzer. Now, we can play a little bit more with that whizzer. We can have the whizzer with an ankle pickup. He shot. I've hit the whizzer right here. It doesn't matter the relationship of the feet. My feet can be in front. It can be behind. With my free hand, I shot this whizzer, and he's been pretty strong. Listen, he could even post it on the mat to stop this thing up. We'll turn a little bit so we can see. He's posted. My free hand just hooked behind his heel, finishes off the whizzer. We'll see, that was my leg behind his. We can do the same thing, my leg in front of his. You're going to see it just drops his base. All you got to do is just read the whizzer. His base is going to go out from underneath him. Let's take a look at both versions again. He shoots, whizzer right here, drop. Catch you nicely for the most part. Here, and drop down. Now, let's take the whizzer with your ankle pickup. Let's take a look at a really mean version. A whizzer with a fallback. We shot. He shot. I hooked the whizzer. Here's the important work now. My left arm's doing the whizzer. I'm staying lazy with it right now. The important thing is this left leg. I come between his legs. We hit a grapevine. A grapevine is any time that you use your legs to start wrapping his up. So I'm actually going to use my instep to wrap behind it. So we're here to here. We got to do this one so slow because this hurts. What I'm going to be doing here is I hook the whizzer. He's got good base. He's been traveling with me. I'm going to finish this guy up. And I'm worried, even if I'm worried about reaching for this, I'm going to hook this grapevine. Now, when I hook this grapevine, I'm going to kick the grapevine leg up and forward while lifting on this whizzer. We'll do this nicely. Okay, we're right here, space. Let's move it up a little bit. Go ahead and hook the grapevine up. You just say, well, right here, I'm going to torque your knee. There's the grapevine. I would fall back, pull, and kick. Just drop that leg out. You good? Yeah. So we shot, we're here, grapevine, and kick to bring it back. While we're working on that one, we shot, we hooked the whizzer, I got the grapevine in, and this guy's leaning just like he is. And he's like, oh, no, I've seen this. Okay, so kicking back, I'm not going to be able to do. But notice, whizzer's in, grapevine's in, but there's his base. Let's move this back a little bit. Since his base is right there, freehand will block out his far arm. I'm just going to not drag it, but make sure he can't move out with it. Hit him with the whizzer, elevate his whizzer leg, the grapevine leg to the rear, and drive him over. So we're here, kick. This brings him down. You got a hard job. So we're here. So I'm blocking, and this leg before the fallback, kick forward. In this version, I'm kicking back. Here. Is that sweet or what? Okay. So let me do that solo once. The first version, the fallback was hook, and kick back. This one, hook, and kick in this direction while you're blocking out. Deceptive falls, aren't they? Yeah. It gets really hard to read which way you're going to go with this thing. Let's take a look at another one. Blocking this double out. He shoots. We've got a bar and chancery. At this point, what we got is we're going to overhook the head. I'm overhooking with the right. I'm going to underhook with the left, right in here. Now this is a common position. Actually, lots of jiu-jitsu guys place themselves in this chancery position. They'll hook a guillotine or a headlock and they throw this arm over. And you just go, oh, thank you, and run right into this. But here we're going to take it off a more realistic, at least for us, double leg. So whenever he shoots, we're here, guide down to right here. Right now we're just using the bar and chancery to set. He shoots to this position. So it was an overhook on the head and underhook on the arm. So slowly, you're here. Once we've done that, since my right arm's overhooked, I would back step with the right leg. Let's do this. So look at this. We're back in position. Remember that flat crank I mentioned earlier? There it is. Let's turn a little bit. That chin crank we mentioned earlier. Get all the chin. You take sit out. There it is. So you've taken the bar arm and chancery, and you've run it back into some previous techniques of the same two cranks we used off of the front quarter Nelson, which can be used anytime you've got your arm right behind the head in that particular relationship. Just a few more. stay with us. We hit a cross face before, same thing. We hit a cross face, hit a lazy one with this one because we were doing drill purposes right here. As we hit the mat, he shoots. I'm kind of sprawling it down, changing my level with him, hit a cross face, and my free hand as I'm turning the corner will hit a far ankle, which means, go ahead and go on your hands and knees for a moment. And I use my free hand to hook them. The ankle's fine, but optimally at the laces. There's greater leverage. These are called ankle picks, when really they should be called lace picks to hit at the instep. So we're going to hit the cross face, run around, hit the far ankle, and then we drive over him with our chest. So he shoots, lazy cross face for safety purposes, change base as we're going down to the mat. Now, let's take this one down from a lower position. We're here, shoots, bang to your knees. We're here, all the way to the knees. Hit the laces and chest over. These last few we're showing you here optimally where you have sprawled to some degree. And we're down here, we're working. We're hit, there, here. That was the far ankle, releasing right now. So I don't keep as much pressure on them, but I would keep this far ankle. You can start running these things in all sorts of toe holds. You can also cross face the near ankle. Let's have your attractive side of the camera. I'm doing a cross face just like we did before. I've reached for this, but this leg's out. I can't find it. So in this case, I'm lacing on the near foot. I just pick it up. Same thing about chesting into them. So again, I've done the cross face, turn, that's hidden, lace into them, pick up the near ankle. We've also got, from right here, we can stay in this position, he shot. I don't have a cross face at this point, but I'm still driving into him with my sprawl. The handwork here is I'm reaching for a rear crotch, in this case with my left hand, and I'm reaching for a front crotch with my right hand. I'm looking to grip my hands, so it's going to look something like this. So I'm trying to get my weight off towards the side I'm working on. Once I have these hands gripped, just picking him up and throwing him over. One more time from that angle. He shoots, he's driving, we're here, there's the grip, throw him over. From this angle perhaps, he shoots, he's driving, hipping through, to here, there's the turnover with the crotch lift. Last, certainly not least, the inside ankle spreader. Let's have this angle again, you're facing it. He's driven, again, down low, and I've had a problem getting all the way, turn the corner. I don't have a cross face in. I can't get the far ankle, inside ankle, not been as successful as I like, but what I can do is I can pick up on this near ankle. But you will notice, if I just pick up on it, this lets him keep driving into me, keep driving, and I start falling back on my butt. So what I am going to do is I pick up out first, and then to this direction. It puts some unnatural torque on the knee and the hip. So we're driving, it's been tough, out, and over. You good?
Yeah.
Slow. We're here, out, and over. You got right there, we've shown you 4 ways on that double leg, and I think a myriad of ways right there on your defense. Remember, that double leg, just like the jab, you're going to need this thing time and time and time again, but your vocabulary has got to be huge for ways to counter that thing off. Work those hard. All right, we've taken a look at how to do the double leg takedown, which again is your jab of your takedowns, and we've taken a look with many, many ways to counter out the double leg. Well, it doesn't stop there. We need to make sure that everything has a counter, recounter, so on and so forth ad nauseum. So we've already shot the double leg, we've countered the double leg. I'm going to give you a few different ways to start countering out some of the counters to the double leg. Now remember earlier we talked about the sprawl. We advised you against hugging around the body, for example, in this manner right here. The reason we do not hug in the body is that you can be hit with a double reverse wing. Now, again, vocabulary at this time. A wing is any time you immobilize one of your opponent's limbs that is wrapped around your body. It's usually done against an arm. So, for example, if I have my right arm seatbelt here and Corey overhooks it, he has set a wing. He's overhooked it, and the wing will actually be whenever he dips and rolls. Go ahead, wing. And he's essentially executed for a wing. Don't worry about trying to memorize that one right now. It's going to come up in a whole little section on wings, which makes it pretty easy to find because it says wings on it. Now I'm going to show you how to hit a double reverse wing. Corey has shot, and I have sprawled incorrectly. I've hugged his body. This is a real common thing for lots of inexperienced or intermediate fighters to do. They want to sprawl in, but they think for some reason, if I hang on to this guy tight, he can't go anywhere. All I'm doing is helping this guy. So hit a double reverse wing. Corey will overhook both elbows and then duck his head out to one side, and then he will look hard to the ceiling, take a sit out, and roll me over. You ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
You're a star. Yeah. There's his double reverse. Notice he's overhooking both elbows with the crooks of his arm at this time because I made a bad call. His head's got to come up. It looks to the sky. If he just does a lazy duck out with his head, just do the lazy version, I'm able to just kind of drag him over. That's just pretty much just falling over on your haunches here. You got to make sure you really look hard and up. Give the solo version kind of up, look big, up into position. See, that's perfect. If I were there for him to support his body on, he would already be in top position. So we'll take a look at the double reverse again. He shot, we're here, and hit. There. Good. Let's do that one time for fun and about 80% tempo. Let's go from you shoot, me sprawl, I get the body lock, double reverse swing.
Down here up.
Start right here. Right there. Beautifully done. I can get you to tell that. But keep in mind, I got to say this. I do most of the talking. Corey's excellent. He's really? Yeah, he's really good. But I just talk a lot more than he does. Now we're going to continue on with some of these wing variations. Remember the one we did where we had the underhook and we had the thigh pry position? We're over here, so we shot. We had this underhook on this side. On this side we had the thigh pry position right in here. Now we can do a wing in the same way in the sense that he will overhook this arm, and on this side he will grab the wrist. He will just gain wrist control right in here. So look at, he's immobilized two limbs again, and what he will do is he will take a wing, he will duck out, excuse me, on the elbow control side, over in this position. We'll go back to the knees. All these can be done from the knees or the standing position. We're going to do them from the knees right now so we control the gravity a little bit more. So he controls the far wrist, he controls the elbow, same thing, look to the sky, he takes the roll over. And again, let's go from the standing, he shoots, we're here, this against this, and this, I'm blocking him from coming in. Take your wing, shots. There's the shot. So what you had to do was immobilizing elbow and immobilizing the wrist. Now, we can also, against, when we had the double underhook, so whenever someone shoots in, we got this position. Remember, this was the double bar. We're talking the underhook. Bars are tough. Against the double underhook, there's many ways to start fighting this thing out. In this particular one, we're going to have him hit a wrist and a reverse swing, which means he will control an elbow and a wrist on one side. Okay? We're getting nitpicky with these different grips. So we got a elbow and a wrist, same thing. He will duck out over here on the elbow side and control. Go ahead and take it. And over. Do it once for the knees. I hit the double underhook. He's got the wrist and the elbow. So there you have a reverse swing along with the wrist against that double underhook. Now, what you can also do is just call a double elbow lock against this double underhook, which is I'm still doing the same double underhook. The difference is he grabs both elbows. Okay, you know, well, Mark, do we need this many? You gave me an elbow and he held the wrist on the other side. We want to make sure that when you're running through your drills, you've got You've played with all the permutations, so nothing feels foreign, nothing feels alien to you. No matter where you lay your hands into position, you're going to start having an answer for what's going on. I mean, that is the basis of true scientific wrestling, leaving nothing to chance. So again, we're coming underneath, double elbow lock. Again, it's called elbow lock. It doesn't mean taking a submission at this point. It means he's just locking the elbows in tight. We'll do this one for the knees. We've got the shot, double underhook. He grips both elbows, takes a wing with the duck out there. There we go. I flapped out myself. Did you really? Let's see if you can tap yourself in the feet. Be careful because I can't break fall on this one, okay? Ready? So, he takes a shot, double, he's got it, hits, bam. Nicely done. A little bit of a thump on that one, but that's my fault. There's no real way to control that one. Now, so far we had the double underhook. We've hit that with the wings. And we've hit it with the revert, with the elbow lock. We've hit the wrist. We can also hit a fireman's carry against this double underhook. Let me run this one. So we're shooting in. He's got his double underhook. I'm doing the exact same thing as we just did with the double elbow lock. Look, we got both of these wrapped up. Now, I'm going to duck out, side facing the camera, so to my left, and I will bang my right knee to the mat. So I'm hooking the elbows and ducking to right here. So it's here. Again, the key to these wings is getting your head out to the side, as Corey was just showing you earlier. So that's the first portion of the motion. So at the same time, when I would take that duck out and bang the knee, I'm going to reach deep into the crotch. Now once I've done this, I can go down on both knees, or I can stay up on this one if I think I've got more strength, or I got a greater weight on him. I'm going to pull on the elbow that I kept, and I'm going to lift with the high crotch on the opposite side. So it looked like this is slow. He's on top. I've got him loaded on me already. Pull and lift. Oh, that sounded fun. Okay, let's do it again. So, I have shot, double underhook, double elbow lock. I just can't release the elbow and reach in here because he's stopping me. So I got to make sure he can't go anywhere, and I just can't reach for it because he can pancake me back to the mat. Go ahead and do that. There you go. I was going to say a swear word, Corey. That was good. So we shoot. So I got to drop with my base and make sure he can't pancake me. It's my entire weight coming through. So I get that hook, and then I can bang this knee down and take the rocker version of this fireman's carry. One more time. Okay. Notice I make you do the following ones 3 or 4 times. I only do it once. Do it. Okay. So shoot. We're in here. Drop for base. There it is. Now, there's another version of the fireman's carry, particularly if you got a guy who's a bit bigger than you. We've got a guy, who's Mitch, 260? Yeah. Big guy. Good wrestler, too. And if we try to do this same rocker version, we might get so far in our lumbar spine goes, ah! No, don't do that. So we got to have a variation for that. Same thing, double underhook, double elbow lock, but this time, instead of me just banging this way, this is the right knee that was going to go to the mat. I'm going to step through between his legs. Let me release for a moment. I'm stepping deep with this foot and still hanging on to this elbow. I'll hopefully taking the dump over here. Dump me and drop him over, and nothing particularly nasty you find on my website. So we're here, hang on and step through and hit through. This arm still drops out and gets the high crotch hook. We'll try and do that slow. It's tough because I have to have my basis ending. So we shot. Double underhook, hang on to here as I'm stepping through, and then release at the last moment. Ta-da. Ready for that one, about 70? So I shoot, double, and there's the rollover. Now, we've done the fireman's carry and such. Remember that bar and chancery we had? Where he overhooks the head, underhooks an arm, is able to drop us right down to a flat neck crank or a chin hook crank. We need some good answers for that because that is a formidable position. Where we talked before where Corey uses the double bar lock a lot. I love to use that bar and chancery position. Well, here's how to beat that. He hits the bar in chancery. I've got to get control of both. I'm going to control the elbow on the head side and on the arm side the best I can. You'll notice this is a bit of a reach because he's got a good underhook on me. No one's going to leave this out easy for you to snag, so reach the best you can. Now once I've done that, my head side leg, the side that my head's on, my left leg is nearest to me right now. This left leg is going to step between his legs. Whenever I step this left leg between his legs, I'm going to back step with the other leg. So the footwork will look like here and here. And while I'm doing that, I'm lifting on the head side elbow and I'm pulling on the arm side elbow. Try this as nicely as we can. So it's here and here, steps, and taking a rollover. I'm hanging on loosely to his arms right now because this is a very hard throw for me to control for him. He ends up flat backing and we don't want to hurt each other. Ready? So again, we shot, he hits his bar of chancery, control on both sides. It's not this leg stepping through, head side leg with the back step, because while I'm turning, it's me trying to arch and look. That helps take him. If I'm just trying to turn this way, release for just a moment. You'll see what happens if I'm not looking at the sky. It's taking my neck in this position. And here's your little bit of drill on strength. Your neck and spine have to be in alignment for you to keep your strength. Simple test is to find someone who's doing a handstand push-up or doing a military press. For example, Corey's doing a little fake military press right here, and he gets, let's say, 150 pounds over his head right now. Now, if I want him to drop that weight, all I have to do is take 2 fingers, push his head to the side. This will drop. Same thing any kind of wrestling. If someone's really strong on you right here, push into me, push, push, push. As soon as we take the head out of alignment, a lot of the strength goes away. So the same thing with bar and chancery. I'm just trying to turn here. I just took my head out of alignment, so my neck and spine have to stay in alignment with this upward orientation. So I can always stay with this stiff back position. So I'll lock both things up, head side foot between the legs, back step, keep everything locked down tight. I will have a relatively loose grip on his arms so he can control his descent. So shot, bar and chancery, control, back step, and I have good posture all the way over. Also against the bar and chancery, you can hit what's called an underarm spin. I'll show you this one, attractive side of the camera momentarily. We're here, underarm spin before this hits. I still got the same hooks. Control the head arm and the underhook arm. What I'm trying to do is hit a sneak on the underhook arm. A sneak is nothing more than trying to get a lift. And these, you'll be hitting these all the time. A sneak or a slip, you'll be hitting these in the Nelson category that we've got in this series. I'm going to try and get a lift and get my head ducked out to the underhook side. It's obviously that I cannot go to this side because he's got me stopped up over here. So if I do not put the lift in, he stops me. His elbow's in position and I can't get through. Let's go profile for a moment. Dills me through. Can't make it. I'm just hurting my own neck. But if I get a lift in at the same time, I'm able to duck out on the other side. And once I take that duck out, we'll freeze it here. I'm already here. I'm going to start turning back into him, but I'm leaving this upper arm, his humerus, my shoulder and the neck. I'm turning, and I'm grabbing his wrist. I'm getting a 2-on-1 on his body. We're going to go all the way to the mat with my head and shoulder on his arm while I'm hanging on to his arm with both hands at the same time. We do it a few times slow. It's actually an easy technique once you realize what's going on. So here's the slip and lift. Head ducks out, high to the sky, 2-on-1. Keep your weight on it, and drop to the mat. One time. Slew. Here. Lift. Duck. Hook. And it's the body weight. The head and the shoulder and the back of the arm. One time at 70. Okay. So we're here. We got the hook up. Here. Got both locked up. 2 hooks. Lift. And down with the underarm spin. Nicely done. Now, we still got it on with the bar and chancery. Like I said, it's one of my favorite moves. We're giving you all these ways to beat it. And to keep in mind, just because we give you counters, keep in mind we showed you double legs. We showed you more counters for double legs, the double leg variations right now. It doesn't mean throw your double legs away. Still incredibly high percentage takedown. And here we're showing you counters to double leg counters. This can keep going on and on and on. Again, what we're trying to do here with this program is get you up to speed, beyond speed. We're moving you up here to Mach 5 with your grappling program, so everything will really get a sense. You'll get a sense of the totality of grappling, instead of trying to grab little bits and pieces of information here and there. Okay, against this the bar and chancery, we already had the underarm spin versus the bar and chancery. We can also take the standing forearm and rear crotch bar and chancery counter here. So what we've got is I'm going to have both hooks going on right now like we had before, blocking with the head side and on the underhook. And what I'm going to do is I will keep the underhook side, which is blocking out this arm side, and I'm going to try and duck and look towards the back. Now, the thing is, he will still be trying to weight me down, but as I turn to the back, if I feel the weight coming back down on me, I will turn into him, release the head side arm, and grab the near leg. And at this point, I'm pulling hard on his underhook arm, and I'm head hooking with my head, just like we did in the double leg tackle and the double leg dive, and I'm just blocking this knee out. So we're here, and I'm hooking, trying to turn, drive, and down to the mat. So we go in, block up like we did on every single one of them, trying to come out to my head side, keeping my head nice and tight, pulling tight on the underhook side arm, releasing to here, and using the head hook to drop them down. Now, the bar and chancery, again, the chancery is the grip around the neck. The bar is where you're coming underneath the arm. Someone can hit a straight chancery in this sort of thing, and we can actually hit a crotch lift. You can also hit a crotch lift off the bar and chancery. I'm going to show you that answer for both the bar and chancery and just a single chancery. So we hit the bar and chancery here. And the crotch lift can be nothing more than me turning the corner. Instead of hooking the leg, I'm hooking up underneath for this high crotch position and taking the lift. So it was pulling on the arm, underhooking the thigh, and I'll take a back lift. Now, I had a bad neck position when I first showed you because I was trying to look at the camera and talk to you. This is not how you would lift. I need to hook and arch and look up. So hang onto the arm, turn the corner, not reach for the leg, reach high in the crotch, lift, and then you can spin them and drop them down on his head or shoulders. Right now we'll just get the lift. So there's the bar and chancery, take the turn, and there's the lift. It doesn't really take any imagination to see what's going to happen from here. Since I have control of his near side arm, it's going to take a nasty fall. We won't make that happen. We'll do it one more time. Let's do it back to the camera without the drop in it. So we're here, turn, and there's the lift. These are not strength moves. It's finding where your opponent's base is, as a center of balance, and picking them up. That's why these high crotches work so well, because they're getting closer and closer to the hips all the time. Now we got the chancery and lift, which is chancery is just the hook on the neck. No arm is equal. So show them the bar and chancery. There's the bar and chancery, and just the chancery is right here. It's a tough move. Some people call it a guillotine. But you notice he's got different hand stack position. We covered this before in our ABCs. NHB, real quick. Go ahead and hit that. He's got posting on my shoulder instead of hooking up in his hands, and that way he's able to use a gooseneck motion with his wrist. Go ahead to take the tap out. As soon as I feel a chancery hit, I'm going to take my free arm away from the head, and come over the shoulder between our heads to hook his the head in the reverse half. And I'm going to reach for a front crotch position and get a similar sort of lift to what we just did against the bar and chancery. So I shot, I feel this come in, hook, it comes between the heads if at all possible, and we get this pick. If he's doing a standard guillotine choke, it's all the easier for you to hit. Keep in mind, while you're doing this, look what happens whenever you're doing this guillotine. This is actually not formally part of the outline. Just keep in mind, whenever I do this motion in between, I fed him a bar and chancery. Hit the bar and chancery now. Look at that. We're back down to the mat. So while you're doing any sort of reverse Nelson lift against a chancery, you're going to have to keep in mind that he might run off to a bar and chancery. When he does, run to one of the 3 previous counters that we just gave you for a bar and chancery, so you can tie these things together. We can keep chaining them for you right now, but we're trying to kill 384 moves here. We don't want to eat up any more of your time. Okay, we're also taking a look now how to beat the whizzer a few different ways. Whenever I've shot and he hooks the whizzer in. Let's go on this side. All right. He hooks the whizzer. I can beat the whizzer with a heel lift or what's called a hawk lift. I'm going to give you both versions right now. When he's hooking the whizzer, he's getting ready to take me down the mat. I take my free arm, I reach through and I grab his near ankle, and I just hit a lift. So again, we're going to hit this slow. I shoot. Here's the whizzer. He's turning the corner, and I pick up the leg. So it's nothing more than that. Hook and pick up to take the base. The hawk lift version just means hawk, H-O-C-K. I'm underhooking and picking up the near thigh. So we know we're hitting. Go ahead and run the whizzer down to the mat. There's your whizzer. To make this happen, he's got to have this little back step footwork with his near leg, so that's why we're attacking the near leg. So we're hooking, going about 50, gets right here. We can find that leg and take his whizzer power away from him. So we hook, we either got inside ankle or the hawk lift right there. So, you've got double legs, counters for double legs, and then we showed you some recounters. Not done, let me give you a couple more ways to counter out some recounters, and one more on top of that, because this thing can keep going, but hopefully to open your eyes and give you an idea of everything that can happen here. Let's go back over here where Corey had a double underhook, and I dropped down to take a fireman's carry. Where I drop down this position, well, he can stall this thing out just by hitting a sprawl, like we did. That was our first defense against a double leg. Hit the sprawl. Now look what that does to my body right here. So what we've done is I've shot an offensive motion. He's defended it. I've recountered. He countered one more time. So try to keep your eyes open to how a chain will work. So I will shoot, double underhook. I will shoot down for the fireman's carry. He will sprawl. So here we go. Here, double underhook. The sprawl, he breaks it out. Let's give you one more chain piece on this right now. You know, the nature of this series has not changed, just to make sure we're on the same page how this should be done. Go back, tweak those. Yeah. Cool. Good. You're the one with the first injury. Purple heart. Then we drop down, and I hit this fireman's carry. He hits a sprawl. I will, chances are, have lost this leg position because the sprawl takes it away from me. I will keep my overhook on his arm. So we're here. Stand up for a moment. I hit the fireman's carry. He hits a sprawl. This is a tough position. I will keep this position. This arm will sneak out and come over his body and hit a version of a pancake. Pancake is anytime you're able to flip, turn someone to their back. So again, we're up. I hit the fireman's. He's hit the sprawl. I'm caught down. Keep this hooked in. Come over the body. Start elevating and turning over. So, more for academic purposes to keep in mind when you're moving through this, do not treat the movements as single, isolated events, but just like in boxing, everything is a combination with a logical call and response counter to what's going on. I don't want you to shoot a double leg and think, oh, I did a sprawl, now I'll do a backflip. No, everything has to make sense in the context of your shooting. So, as far as your double legs, counters, and recounters, that's a pretty healthy portion right there. Work these diligently. Okay, we're going to take a look at single leg takedowns. Now we've shown you double legs, single legs. Double legs are high percentage, just like a jab. And that's more of a new school way of thinking about the takedowns. The old-timers, they thought that the single leg was the highest percentage. So I pretty much think that you want to combine them both and use both the old school of thought and the new school of thought. There's no exaggeration at all whenever I say that we could do, as far as double legs, single legs, and the counters and recounters for them, we could stand here and talk to you for 3-4 hours on that, and it probably is worth that sometime, just because you've got such a wealth of information there for such a high percentage move, and to have an actual grappling system, you got to get people down to the mat. Right now, I'm going to give you a couple of really high percentage ways to get this high single, and then we're going to show you a few ways to start countering this thing out. Just like we did with the double leg, we're just not going to go into nearly as much information right now. Not because it doesn't exist, just because right now I think this is the most important stuff that you're going to need. Now, a high single takedown is where we have a double leg. Pretty much we're trying to block out both legs. Here on a single, we're just trying to control one leg at a time. Now, you can either have two ways to grip this thing out. I can take his lead leg and have the other arm in a seat belt. How this can happen is if I shot for a double leg dive and he's dropped one leg back away from me, so I come up for this single pickup. That's one way. That's pretty easy to envision doing, and it's just pretty much you're taking your leg dives and coming to here. What I want to show you is a more scientific way to hook this high single. You're always going to be hooking the single with your inside hand first, meaning my right hand versus his right leg, and not vice versa. If I take my left hand in first, his basic counter against this incorrect form is to hook a whizzer. So if we're here, you can see slow-mo, bam, he hooks and goes down. You do one of those about 80%, I'll come in and you hook it so we're right. Oh, sure, you're glad.
For 90%.
90? I say let's drop it to 50%. Here we go. Okay. And we're down. He's blocked it out. There is no whizzer if I come in with my right versus right with the inside hand. So we know it's going to be the inside hand first. We're going to pay attention to the same idea that we want our toes to penetrate the plane of glass, because I do not want this portion here. I've got the snap. He's got the snap down on me, so I need to step through. For the same kind of thing, I could reach down and touch the toe and keep base. Now, take a look at a particular gripping position. Whenever I do get the leg picked up, outside hand then comes through, and it will be palm down. So I'm going to hook with the inside hand, outside comes in, palm down, and then I hook my hands together in a palm-to-palm grip. This grip is vital to what we're showing you here. So whenever we pick this leg up, let me turn this a little bit. Here's the grip. Inside hand came through, outside hand came through, and it's palm down, inside hand is palm up, and I've got the outside hand is the one that's penetrating through. I do not have the V of the hands behind his knee. I got the outside hand through so I can dig through with the inner forearm bone. The reason we have our grips in this position, let me switch the grip over and show you the difference. We're not making this up. Try it so you can see. So if he's hopping, I haven't taken him down yet, he's hopping around, pull my hands apart. Again, pull them apart. No problem. Let me turn my grips over how we're telling you to do it. Pull them apart. Just this change in hand positions gives you the light to hook this thing up and start looking for your trips, your barziggers, windmills, all these different ways to drop them down. So it's going to be inside hand, outside hand through, into a palm to palm. Whenever you take this single, it's called a high single because we're working in the high portion of the leg. There's a low single we'll be covering soon, and also you want to be lifting this leg as high as you can. Now what we're going to do right now is we're going to hook this high single, we're going to pick this thing up. So in here, we'll be able to touch him, smack, and pull this thing up. And again, we've got to be able to touch before we can shoot. So it's here, and up. I've got my grip in proper position. Now, let me give you a drop from here is basically me continue to lift and look to the sky. This will cause, I don't even have to put a sweep in, which you can, which will cause this leg to hop off the mat enough for him to go down. Good enough for me to hit that one time? And hit and left. So we're here. Drops him down to the mat. I can cover him at that point, stomp at that point. A really fun way to play the game sometimes is to drop. When they're down, stay up. Wait till they get back up, so you keep dropping them a few more times, take some wind out of them. So all we did to drop that was to pick up, lift, and look to the sky. Takes his base away. Now another way we can do this is with an inside trip. We'll hook the high single, and since I've got his right leg, my right leg comes in heel to heel, and we would just drive through him and drop him to the mat. So we've got the single, we've got the lift, so right heel to right heel. There's the drop. I mean, that's self-explanatory almost at that point. Here we are again. Here, hook, 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 hook. Here to here. Now, we're not playing with submissions on this particular takedown, but I do want you to keep in mind, one reason when we're falling, we would optimally like to have his leg always between your legs, because at this point, it's so easy to hit a short knee scissors by dropping through, and we can pop this knee at this point. All we would have to do at this point is drive through, step the foot over, and take this leg out. That had to do with keeping his foot under my butt, dropping back, driving this one under his butt, stepping one foot on top, and thinking about taking my butt towards his butt. My hands are already in position, correct position from the high single to make that technique occur. So you've got a high single, and the main thing is to work that proper grip. I would suggest working rounds of just having reach with the correct hand, getting the proper grip, then hitting the lift, and then more rounds on hitting that inside trip. Need to address how to start countering out a high single. So Corey hooks up a high single on my leg. He's got it in the air. He's playing a good game. We already know we can't rip his hands apart. So what we're looking for is a more convenient way to hook this. We're going to try and pull off the double wrist lock. A double wrist lock in jiu-jitsu circles, some people it's a kimura, it's a down paintbrush, it's an entanglement lock. It's a double wrist lock. That's what it started out being. That's what it's going to be to me. I'm going to overhook this arm, hook his wrist, and then figure four my own hands. Let's do this nicely. So it's here, it's overhook, here, and here. So even if he has his hands tight, I now have a nice stabilizing grip to lift and pull. So he's got this leg in the air. I would be hopping around while I'm trying to fight this out, because he's looking to get a lift, and I'm trying to prevent him from getting all the way up high on this lift so I can hook this thing up. Once I have this, then we're looking to drive your leg to the mat and rip this arm to the sky. There's ways to continue on with, down to the mat with the double wrist lock and run through a submission chain. We're not going to cover it right now. Trust me, hold your horses. It comes up later in this material. So he hooks up the high single, keep his head controlled, and hook up the double. Now, when I'm talking about head control, as soon as he picks this leg up, I can't be out here, or he's going to pick me up and do the same thing that I just did to him earlier. I got to keep his head down, here, weave through. It's got to be that motion right there. He's opening that up a bit so we can see what's going on. And to break this out, I'm jerking on this arm and jerking my leg down to the mat. One more time at 60. Now, let's say he picks this leg up, and he's got this elbow winged back tight in his body, and I can't get through. I can get past the elbow, but I can't get enough wiggle room to come out to here. But if I can get past the elbow, we'll just hit a standing switch. So I overhook the elbow. The double is out of the question at this point. Now this hand will come in palm against his inner thigh. What I'm looking to do is pull with my palm while driving this leg down to the mat and hit a standing switch to turn around. And a switch is nothing more than, let's go down to the knees for a moment, any position where you're overhooking with an arm and then underhooking at the leg and then pulling to allow yourself to turn a corner. So what we're hitting here is a standing switch. We'll cover switches in more detail in the section in and of itself, so he picks it up. Double out of the question, I'm able to overhook, hand in. So overhook elbow, hand to the thigh, drive this to the mat, pull. Now I've gained his back. Rear body lock position, that's to come. One more time, pick, overhook, hit the switch. Now, we also have a standing arm drag. A drag section in and of itself is pulling the upper arms. So when he hooks the single at this point, if this arm is winged out, I could have had the option to work here for the double. I could have also had the option to work to the inside immediately. Here, we're going to work to the inside immediately, or it could be you couldn't hit the switch, but I can't pry from this far. I decided to hook to here. So, release for just a moment. I'll pull on his upper arm, and while I'm pulling, I'm looking to release my leg. I'm going to pull, turn the corner, and I'm going to use my free arm to overhook him behind the knee. I'm going to fall down on my right hip, so the whole thing will be pull, turn, and drop. Facing the camera by myself, so it'll be here, here, and this turning position. So he picks it up. Pry that thing out. Sorry about that elbow. Hit this drag in, turn the corner, and go all the way down to the mat. We'll try and hit that as slowly as we can. That was still somewhat controlled. It's hard one to take slow. So we're here. Pry. Here's the drag. Turn the corner. Pull. Pull. Drop. This leg is actually trying to slide between the legs. We'll go as slow as we can. Here. Pull and keep turning to face back into us. One more time, about 60, no more than that. So he shoots, pry, here's the drag, and then we're all the way down the mat with the standing arm drag. Okay, last but not least, again, there's many more of these, at least for right now. We talked about a double wrist lock. This position, this is a double. There's a lot more people becoming more familiar with this vocabulary. I think why is it called a double wrist lock? Because you're using two arms on it. And people go, just a single. Is there such a thing as a single? Yeah, that's a single right there. So he picks this arm up. I hit the pry in. If I'm able to come underneath and hook in this position, it can be hooked like this or like this. So let's take a look. This can be a single hook, or the crook of the arm is a single hook. But this relationship of back of the armpit to back of the armpit is vital. So he picks it up, wing it, and I get the run. Now, this isn't enough. I can start lifting here. I've broken the grip, but this leg has been picked up. I'm going to use that as an elevator. Remember, that's the instep. Use my instep against his near side thigh, which is his right. I'm going to elevate with the single, lift with the single, and kick with my right leg. So it's here, up and over the mat. I can turn into him and start running this into a double wrist lock. That's to come. So remember where we start flying the single to run that to a double. Again, what we've done is picked it up, pry, hook the single, elevator, lift, and I can turn the corner and then rehook it to a double position. Many, many ways to do a high single, many, many ways to counter it out. Those are a few, but those are pretty high percentage. Work them hard. All right, we've covered a high single takedown, and we've covered some counters for it, just like we did with the double leg. Let's run a few re-counters for those counters. So what you've got here is you're shooting the high single. Your partner sets up his counter on it. Let's find ways to start beating, make sure that you can beat whatever his answers are. So, for example, right now I'll shoot single. Corey hooks up. We'll turn a little bit. He hooks up the double wrist lock on me. Hooks the double wrist lock. We know it's a pretty formidable movement right here. I will release his leg. He's going to be ripping this hard and fast towards the mat, so we have to do this quickly. Release his leg, and then clasp your own hands together to block this up. Once you clasp your own hands, you're looking to bring your hands back right in front of where your belt buckle would be, right in front of your navel, and this can really stop him from being able to rip this thing over. So go ahead from here. Hook up. Can you rip that over? Walk it up. Now watch this. If I bring my hands out to here, look at the rip over. You can hold the hands apart. So my job is to get them right in front of the navel, and that gives me this. Gets my center of mass a lot stronger in this position. So same thing. We've got high single. He's got his double wrist lock. Release. Pull your hands right back to position. Called an inside-out counter. Real simple little motion. Can work right here. He reaches through, grabs hands, pulls it back to center. As I said, you can just drill that sometimes if you want, because the standing double, you hook mine up. It's a really useful motion to have. Also, one of the counters we had against the high single was where we had the switch. I hooked this up, and he's herded his arm over mine, hooked it on this leg, he turns the corner. If we hit that, we'll turn it back around and let you hit that again. We have the switch. I'm setting up these lazy high singles right now, so I want you to pay attention to his counter so we can show what the re-counter is going to be. High single, inserts, here's the switch. Now, we're going to do this again. What you can do is hit a re-switch. I've hooked up, he hooks the switch, turns the corner. Now, as he's turning the corner, notice my hands are in relation, his hand pops down, but look at this. We are both the exact same position. We've got armpit, back of the armpit, hands on the inner thigh. He just hit his switch. My re-switch would be me just pulling off, continuing on with the momentum to turn the corner. So, I'm going to shoot the high, he will switch, and I will re-switch. It's hard to say. Let's hit that 3 times fast. Let's not. Ready? Me to a single, him to a switch, me right into a re-switch. Starts looking like this little do-si-do position, but it keeps you in control of the fight. So again, slow. Here, hook, pick up, switch, he turns. I'm in the same position right here. This is the key. Pull out and hit my own switch position. One more time slow. Pay attention to the arms. Here, pick up, there's the switch. And then I hit the re-switch position. Now we've got another one where we counter with the drag. I hit this position here. He hooked to the inside of my arm, come to the inside, and remember he dropped to his haunches, reached around my knee, and pulled me down the drag. Go ahead and do so. And we're down. What you can do is to hit a re-drag. So whenever I pick up, he reaches for that drag, I will release and grab his arm. So even if as he's turning the corner and drop it down, I'm pulling on his arm and stepping my leg over the top of him. This is a real slightly confusing one. Let's run this one to track aside the camera for a moment. I pick up, he hits this drag position. As he's turning the corner, my hand comes up to hit the drag on the outside of his arm. He's trying to pull me down the mat. As he steps up through with this leg, pull me down. I post, I'm dragging. Let's turn a little bit. This leg now steps over the top. Again, slowly. This position, here. Pick up, he hits the drag, I release, hit my own drag, post, step over the top. We do that with 50. Okay. Right here, so here, pick up, here, pick up. Right over the top. That's how easy that is. But it's only easy if you got that in your vocabulary and you drill it many, many times, because you got to keep in mind, we're going to throw all this material at you, and just you watching it, it's not enough. You got to get out there and actively do it, and then put together the sequences so they do feel like the combinations. So there you got your high singles, you get your high single counters, and then you've got high single re-counters.